1, 2, get down. Get down. 2, 1, 2, get down.
What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. Welcome back to the channel. And on this channel, we talk about any and everything photography. Today's video is about the newly announced Sony VZ-1. I kind of like the name. It rolls off the tongue after you say it 50 times. What Sony is doing with this camera is they are laser focusing on a sub genre of content creators, and this is the vlogger. And I really like this idea, but before we get into that, let's talk about the specs of this thing. This is a cousin, pretty much a slice off the mold of the RX line. And for those of you who are not in the know, the Sony RX line is their heavy hitting point and shoot camera. And yes, it may sound funny in today's world, but I assure you that the RX line is such an amazing line. Those cameras are amazing. They're super small, super light, super compact, and they're no slouch in the performance department. So yeah, they sort of took that and said, okay, let's shave away some of the buttons, some of the menus, and let's just make it for vloggers. Amazing idea. What does that even look like? So this guy comes again highlighting the small and compact, the compact nature of the camera. So it would be perfect for people looking to create content on the go. And then there's a fixed 24, I think it's a 24 equivalent lens on the front. So that those two things I think are sort of the first headlining features that will either attract you or push you away. And I think in today's world, most people equate seriousness in photography and video to interchangeable lenses, and this is not that. However, I would argue that who cares if you can change the lens or not? That's becoming highly specialized and for very specific situations. All we care about is, can this camera do the job? And I think it can, so I'm willing to overlook that. Secondly is the fully articulating display. Good on Sony for putting that in there, because there are a ton of cameras out there that are supposed to serve the purpose of vloggers, but they don't have fully articulating display. Or there are cameras out there that can fill the needs, right? They've got super dope autofocus, they've got wildly amazing video quality, but you just can't flip that screen. So another great decision by Sony. Then it comes with a killer array of microphones that do some magic to record in front of the camera, behind the camera. It knows when you're there, when you're not there, when to switch to what mic. So that's super dope using AI, of course. Then there's the real-time autofocus that came over from the bigger Sony cameras. So the A6000 line, we're talking A6600, the A7, the A7R4, the A7R3. So that amazing autofocus that's in there with the eye detect and all that stuff, that made it into this camera, which is super dope to see. And I guess that is sort of a necessity, because again, the point of this camera is for someone to be holding it and in front out by arm's length vlogging. So you got to make sure that the autofocus is amazing on this thing. And then there's some buttons that, or some modes that are very, very laser focused on vloggers. So there's like a bokeh mode where it'll just open the aperture all the way up and it gives you that smooth separation. Super dope. There is a product mode where I'm guessing it bumps the aperture back down to about a f8 or so, and the AI kicks in to really be on the lookout for when you hold the product in front of it, and it'll give that smooth focus to the product, and then when you put it down, it gives that smooth pull right back to you. These are super dope things that they're doing. I think that Sony is onto something here. Not so much that I don't like this camera, I don't think it's for me. However, I think it can become a serious contender for not only vloggers. To be quite honest, I don't see anything on the market that can compete with it as well as it does. And let me put this on the table. There are a bunch of features that I'm not really talking about here, but believe you me, like the skin smoothing and all of these bokeh modes, all that stuff's in there, and there's a ton of videos. I would recommend you check out Ted Forbes, The Art of Photography. I quite love Ted Forbes' channel. I almost said The Art of the Image. Shout out to Matt from Art of the Image. You guys go over there, The Art of the Image, and show some support. Drop a comment. Rest in peace, Matt. The idea of taking something that exists, such as the RX line, and branching it off into being laser focused for a subset of creators is a path that I really like to see. And I like to see that Sony's including things like AI. I thank you so much, but they need to further explore what's happening here. And it's dope because it's almost like they're taking features that would have existed in all, of course, all of our cell phones, right? And features that would have been included in the camera. And they're saying, no, let's make that feature up front and center. Give it its own button. Remove all the dials that'll just confuse people. Remove all of that shit and just make it laser focused for this. Kudos. Sony is totally going in the right direction. And I would want to see like a street photographer version of this, right? Where instead of the what would you call it? Instead of the bokeh button, let's get like a nighttime street scene versus a dusk or dawn or golden hour button, right? Let's get a subject separation button. And it's so wild to think. And if Sony can really dial in on the needs of a street photographer and put one or two features up front on a button and then remove all the other stuff, what an amazing tool that could be. And I'm thinking about something like the Ricoh GR cameras. They would have a seriously more advanced version of that. That would be amazing to see. What if they went crazy and say, hey, we're doing a portrait version of this camera where the fixed lens was a 50mm or perhaps a 75mm equivalent, but it's got all the goodies. You've got a crazy bokeh button on the front. You've got a environmental portrait button on the back. Like this is just mind-blowing. A landscape version of this with a super wide, like the sky's the limit here. I really like to see Sony going in this direction, and I want to see what they come up with. But yeah, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm curious to know what everyone else is thinking about this and how Sony's going about the ZV-1. Thank you for checking out the video. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace. On a serious note, Matt over at the Art of the Image, long story short, took his life, and I think it is a duty of anyone in this world to be aware of mental health, not only for yourself but for everyone around you. And mental health is a very serious conversation, and I think it's important for everyone to know you are not alone in your mental health struggles, and make sure that you are always aware of those around you and their struggles, and make sure that it's known that they are not alone. And it's very important that we all seek help.
1, 2,
don't let it get to that.
get